Tribrid time. We're talking about monster tribrid combination, and this is not a first impressions. This is a first wear recap of how this little mass appeal tribrid is going to rub people the right or wrong way. For me, it started off a little bit funny, but that dry down in this tribrid of these three monsters, and the monsters that I'm talking about are LAYTON, Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo, come on, but Percival, which is not a monster in mass appeal. As a matter of fact, there's people who really like it or people that just can't stand it. They're just like, it was a crazy cash grab. But this tribrid of these three fragrances magically work, and there happens to be an element in there that isn't mentioned by Dua. Let's roll my motherfucking music so I can put you on to this tribrid of these three grenades that are sexy.
In case you cared, out of all your friends, I wanna be Cuba.
Blessed morning, my beautiful peoples. You know who it is. This is your boy, C to the U to the B to the A. Don't forget, get your Mr. Cubaknow merch, neck profile, cut the check hat, no free shit. Link is in the description. We got jewelry boxes, we got sweaters. It's hot as fuck, but who cares? Hats, anal beads, butt plugs, whatever the hell you want. They have it on MrCubaknow.com. Go check it out right now. Shout out to my fam over at Dua for sponsoring today's video. And this is a fragrance that I selected based on the tribrid. And again, it's the tribrid of Percival, LAYTON, and Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo. And this joint is called Royal Charit's Legendary Tux. The names that Dua puts on these fragrances are pretty much the worst names I've ever heard. There's like paragraphs for names. But this scent profile is a first wear. I've only worn this joint once. I've had it for about 4 days now. And I want to start off by breaking down the notes and telling you what extra fragrance profile that I got out of this fragrance, and the 3 compliments, although I was moving a lot around that day, 3 compliments that I got from complete strangers, which was a breath of fresh air. I don't have the most approachable face. See what I mean? That I got from wearing this fragrance, which again, breath of fresh air. I was out literally the entire day. So 3 compliments for me in a day is a lot. From strangers is a lot. So the notes are listed as apple, lavender, bergamot, mandarin orange, geranium, violet, jasmine leaf, rose, violet, coriander, cinnamon, bourbon, vanilla, cardamom, sandalwood, ambroxan, amberwood, fir balsam, clearwood, pepper, patchouli, black pepper, ambergris, lily of the valley, and gaiac wood. There is a 4th fragrance in this tribrid, or at least a note that reminded me of Abercrombie & Fitch. This melon-ish type note that came out of this fragrance, which was very surprising. And along with that apple, added this element of brightness and super youthful energy, but it didn't feel completely juvenile. What it did feel was kind of uplifting and slightly exciting. It was a really nice day, a little bit too hot, slightly musty, but this fragrance performed beautifully in the hot weather. And again, that sillage bubbles around me had to be what in turn gave me those compliments. Granted, I was looking extra fucking cute, yeah, but one of them was a dude. I mean, maybe he was trying to smash, ew. The opening of the fragrance was less exciting than the mid or the dry down. The opening of the fragrance really came off very inexpensive designer-ish, which kind of threw me off for a little bit, and that's kind of where I got the Abercrombie & Fitch kind of melon opening because of this fresh, aquatic-y, slightly fruity scent profile that came opening. And to me, it was like, you don't get that from LAYTON, you don't get that from Percival, and definitely not from Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo, so where the fuck is that coming from? So I'm assuming, based on how they do it through the GC, I'm assuming that apple kind of concentration from the LAYTON was supposed to be that attribute, but it was more so like a melon cantaloupe kind of scent profile mixed with apple, and it added that melony type mass appeal Abercrombie & Fitch opening, which was a little bit too youthful for me. But once we started to get into the mid and dry down, that's when shit started flipping. A little bit more of that gaiac wood, that oody sensation started coming up, and more notes of the LAYTON started appearing towards the middle, which is a little bit more exciting. Granted, this is a tribrid, right? You're not gonna get, oh, I absolutely pinpoint this and I absolutely pinpoint that. In this particular fragrance, they just happen to kind of intertwine. You can't specifically pinpoint each one unless you really mentally sit there and try to dissect it. Who got time for that shit? I'm wearing the fragrance right now as we speak because I wanted it to dry down while I'm giving you guys kind of like that brief synopsis. So I'm gonna let you know right off a rip, right off the skin, what I'm feeling. In the air right now, what's been lingering is LAYTON and Yves Saint Laurent Tuxedo, kind of just battling back and forth. The Percival in this scent profile is very minimal. I mean, probably what you're getting from the Percival is maybe the musky citrus components that the other two don't have on a larger scale. So maybe so, but it doesn't necessarily pinpoint Percival. It's really more Percival, Abercrombie & Fitch kind of vibes. Super nice, very well balanced. Like I said, it's a super nice scent profile, very attractive. It has a youthful vibe, but I like the energy it gives off of my skin. Very sexy, extremely easy to wear, definitely more of a going out clubby type scent profile, in the elements also of like an Invictus Aqua kind of scent. Invictus Aqua Abercrombie Fitch with way more body and depth towards the mid and dry down. This was a very fun fragrance and actually had some youthful complexity to it that made it really fun. And again, it was one dude who complimented me at the car wash. That was kind of interesting. I subliminally think he kind of knew who I was, so maybe that was kind of it, because he seemed a little bit kind of either coked out or excited. Either way, I'm with it. It was a sweet little milfish type Dominican broad at the bodega that was like, not bad looking. She definitely came from DR a couple years ago with some modifications. And then there was the cashier at Off Saks when I went to go buy some shit, that she was like, wow, is that your cologne? I was like, yeah, probably. She's like, that smells really good. Which brand is it? Then I kind of explained to her what it was. She's like, I've never heard of anything, the designer brands like Prada or whatever. So she was like, oh, can I take down the name? I really want to put my boyfriend onto it. I was like, absolutely. So that was kind of a cool vibe. So should really check this joint out. It was a very surprising wear. Again, the opening is gonna throw you off a little bit. And I'm kind of glad I didn't do a first impressions on this shit, because I would have been like, this is kind of just young basic bitches kind of, because that opening is kind of that, but you gotta let it rock down to that mid and dry down and see how it performs off your skin. And for me, this shit slapped. 3 compliments from strangers. I mean, ball sprayer. Yes, you still got that juvenile opening, but you know, you gotta let the balls dry. My balls are like, I need to fucking shot. I love y'all motherfuckers from the heart. I'll put a link in the description. Shout out to Duo for sponsoring today's video. Shout out to me for always picking some fun shit. I've picked a few other fun ones and you guys will be hearing about them soon. One of them is quite interesting. I'll see y'all bitches next time. You know who it is, biggest in the game. Smooches.
Cubaknow, what's fresh, who's best? Wanna know who's gonna pass the test? Cubaknow.
For the fly gun holder, money folder, Motorola start tag when it's time to call back. For the rough, rugged, and raw way, this nigga Jay, it's a game, but he don't play. Hey, for all the chicks that got dead in the penthouse suite on top of my mom's crib. It's nonsense you never get in. It's nonsense that you would think that you would.